see real. You gave me this beating, baby, this rhythm inside. You made me feel good and feel nice and feel love. Gave me paradise. So shouldn't I realize you're the highest of the high? If you don't know, then I'll say it. So don't ever wonder. Don't ever wonder. Shouldn't I realize? Shouldn't I realize? You're the highest of the high. Oh, if you don't know, then I'll say it. So don't ever wonder. So tell me how long. How long it's gonna take until you speak, babe? 'Cause I can't live my life without you here by my side.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome in. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. You know, we had to vibe to that Maxwell because it's Maxwell. And I think that's a great way to bring us in, get you relaxed. I hope you have a beverage, as always, a couple of snacks, because we have a lot to get into. This is the show where we hit all the trending topics and headlines in entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. I'm Jill Munroe, your host. And of course, I'm going to let you know the topics that we have on deck for this evening, you know, in the hours that they come up in. So, first off, we are definitely going to get into Chris Brown. He has a new album that he's planning. We're going to talk about some changes that he is planning to make for this new album. We're going to talk a little bit about a little rumor that hit social media about two of our favorite 90s R&B singers, Lloyd and Coco from SWV. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk a little bit about Nia Long. She's going through some changes. We're going to talk about the situation and where she's at with her ex and what that means for her, what her future plans are. We're going to talk about Raven Symone. You know, she has a podcast with her wife, and they recently interviewed Whoopi Goldberg. And Raven, who I assume is good friends with Whoopi, asked Whoopi a question that I kind of felt was a little line stepping, little boundary crossing, kind of inappropriate. I don't know. I think it was a little overstepping of the boundaries, but we'll see what you think. We're going to get your feedback on that and discuss that. We're going to talk about Jennifer Aniston. She says that she's tired of cancel culture. We're going to talk a little bit about what prompted her to say this and why some people feel like she shouldn't even be speaking on that topic. We're going to give you the rundown on the new Undisputed because, you know, we all want to know who's going to be matching up where and talking with whom because football season is right around the corner, right? We're going to talk about Neymar Jr.'s huge contract with the Saudi Arabian football club. That's soccer, you know. The contract that he signed that was offered to some others. We're going to talk about the money, the perks, and what he's giving up to be a part of that. Of course, we're going to get into nepotism. You know, we hear a lot about celebrities and their children, especially black celebrities, and their ventures. And a lot of times what we hear as a response is, hey, I didn't help my kid get there at all. They worked hard and did it on their own. But should they have to? We're going to have that conversation. We're going to talk a little bit about nepotism, all of that and then some. But before we get into all of that, I have to have a couple of conversation starters for you. Just a couple of things that are bubbling around that I feel like you need to know about and be kept abreast of. So, first up, I mentioned Chris Brown, right? And he has announced that he has a new project dropping. It's going to be called 1111. It's his 11th album. And the possible release date, November 11th, 11/11. And on this particular album, he's saying that there's only going to be 11 songs. Now, if you are familiar with Chris Brown's albums, one of the main complaints, one of the main problems is that there is simply too much music on them. That what would help Chris Brown immensely, probably as far as the sales, the notoriety, because, he does well with singles, as we can all say. There's generally a single from any of these 36-song length albums that he releases that people like, but that he should have a good A&R or someone to help him pare down the amount of music that he releases on his albums. So it looks like this might be the case. He says the album is tentatively being released on 11/11, for his 11th song. I think that is a wonderful idea. I think that a pared down Chris Brown could be a good thing and, maybe help him resurge in a different way. We'll have to see. When we come forward, we will get into more trending topics and headlines. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing us into fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 is inviting you to join us on Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for our very first economic empowerment event for the community. This event is free and is powered by Caltrans. We're doing this in association with Rambo House, and here's Rambo to tell you more.
Contracts. I'm going to say it again for all of us small business owners out there. Contracts. Rambo House, KBLA, Tavis, me. Oh my God, this is going to be massive. I truly thank Caltrans for giving us the opportunity to focus on contracts. Listen, that's what it's all about to be a small business in LA. That's how we hire our own. That's how we expand our community is contracts. KBLA1580.com is for you to have a seat at our contracts-focused event. Contract Ready does it again. We had over 900 last time. So you guys know how exciting this is. And if you just think that you want to get into contracts and you're close to it, bring your friends out for September 16th at the Marriott Hotel. Listen, you know where to register. KBLA1580.com. Come see me. I can't wait to see you. Let's do it, Tavis.
So be sure to go to KBLA1580.com for all the details. We'll see you Saturday, September 16th.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580. Are you worried about your credit score? Well, look, you can rebuild it. There are lots of factors that go into determining your credit score, but one of the most effective ways to improve your score is to consistently pay your bills on time, over time. If you're forgetful about payments like me, try automating your bill payments. That way all your creditors get paid on time and you'll have freed yourself of trying to remember. Whatever your financial goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Initiatives can help support you in reaching them. Access your financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Now, before we get into these trending topics and headlines, I have to remind you that if you want to call in because you have commentary on any of the stories, you know the number, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580, or get at us on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm, of course, at Stiletto Jill everywhere. And if you are somebody that is on the go, download the app. You know, you can leave messages for us there. Check out podcast versions of all the shows here on the station. And, visit the store. So there's so much there. Go check it out. Make sure you're locked in on one of those places. But for now, you're locked in here as a VIP on RSVP with Jill Munroe. So let us get into these headlines and trending topics. Now, first up, shout out to Drake. We mentioned last night that he was doing one of his final shows in LA at the Crypto.com arena, Staples Center. It's always going to be Staples Center. I'm always going to remind you of such. But technically, that's where he was. We talked about how he had LeBron and Bronny walk him out, as is customary, on his shows on this tour. There's lots of action happening. I think Giannis was there. Lots of ball players were in the building. Jason Tatum was there. He took a photo backstage with Sexy Red. Shout out to her, both two St. Louis products. But what I found was very interesting and respectful. If you catch the photos online, Jason made sure to hover his hand around Sexy, but not actually touch her. Probably being respectful that he has an R&B girlfriend, LMA, and, want to make sure that nobody misconstrues anything, that there are no, mix-ups, confusions, any of that. But it was really cute. There are a lot of people in the building to check out Drake, so... if you're a Drake fan, did you go? Are you interested? Because this leads us to our next story. I mentioned that Drake has a new album dropping in a couple weeks along with a poetry book. So he revealed the cover of the album For All the Dogs, which comes out in a few days. And he also stated that his 5-year-old son, Adonis, drew the image. So basically it's a sketch dog with long ears and red eyes. So I don't know what this project is going to be on, but we know that Drake has been on a heck of a promo run. We saw him out there with the fro parted in the middle, with the bobos adorning his fro, making his rounds. He does this stuff on purpose. It's the best pre-album run that you could think of, including the tour, to get everybody talking without having to do very much as far as press and interviews outside of Bobby. But, listen, he's making his moves. He's doing his thing. So For All the Dogs, cover art by his son, album in stores, poetry book accompanying it to come with it. So be locked in for that. So also, Serena Williams and her husband, Alex O'Hannon, welcomed their second child, a daughter, Adia River, into the fold. They announced it by putting up a cute TikTok video that featured Serena, her husband, baby Olympia, and Serena was pregnant. They were at the table. Serena got up and excused herself. And when she came back, she had a baby in her arms. So really cute reveal. We love that, We're rooting for Serena. We can't wait to see what the family blossoms into. And they'll be part of our nepotism conversation later because I want to ask your opinion on some things related to that. Shout out to Pretty Brown Mimi in the chat. She says, happy Tuesday to me and everyone. We appreciate that. We also have to mention that Cam and Mace's new, well, it's not new. It's been out for a couple months podcast. It Is What It Is signed an 8-figure deal with Underdog Sports. Now, if you are familiar with Underdog Sports, they also are producing Gilbert Arenas' podcast, Gil's Arena, which is featured on YouTube. I mean, those views run up lots. So a lot of people are locked in. And of course, we have the NBA season coming up. Cam and Mace cover all the sports with their interesting New York take. We know obviously Cam was a high school standout, played a little bit in college, got hurt, blew his knee out, and the rest is rap history, right? So, but they do fancy themselves as the new era of sports analysts. And if you checked out their show It is pretty interesting at times. They've had a lot of high-profile guests to start. They've had, so far in their first season, Ice Cube, Stephen A. Smith, Paul Pierce, Andre Drummond, Brandon Marshall, and more. And of course, they've done the rounds. So, you know, the show is part of Cam's Come and Talk to Me media company, and there are other shows that are a part of this network. There's a show that will feature Mace, right? And his show will be called Fix My Situation. I guess he's taking a little bit of inspiration from Ileana. Why did I just jack her name up? But you know what I meant. Rock with me. Rock with me. At any rate, Mace, in his other podcast that is coming, he's going to use his spiritual insight and life experience to help guests navigate through adverse scenarios and other difficulties in their lives. So that is coming from Mace. Are you interested in checking that out? And in addition to that, Cam is also going to be having a series on there where it will cover guests dealing with personal and professional issues, and he'll help them through that. It will also have a show called SLOKS. SLOKS? Okay, yeah. Which is going to focus on Latino-friendly sports topics as led on by them. And it's going to be hosted by, let me see, by a blogger, Whoopi, and also Fidel Garcia. I'm not sure who they are. Maybe you're familiar with them. Might be some millennial stuff. But Cam is building his media empire. So it's not just, hey, we're going to have this podcast and we're going to produce it and we're going to talk stuff. There are plans for expansion, and he is making moves out there. So, you know, shout out to he and Mace revisiting their group. What was it called? Bloodshed, Murder Mace, and Killer Cam. The OGs before... what's the line? I was murdered. P. Diddy made me pretty. So shout out to that, right? So anyway, in addition to that, we have to talk really quick about, because you know we always touch on little social media things. So there's a new challenge that's making its way around social media. It feels very 2020 pandemic or before. You know, when people were doing the I'm passing the phone to the da-da-da-da-da-da thing, or people were calling people on FaceTime trying to get them to do something. Well, we know Lala has famous friends. That's actress, host, entrepreneur, Lala. I don't know if she still uses Anthony. I feel like she's dropped it and it's gone back to Vasquez. But at any rate, that Lala, she did the challenge for the Seem Sema challenge, which highlights Beanie Man's song, you know, Zim Zima, who got the keys to my Beamer? Who am I? Anyway, shout out to Beanie Man. It's his 50th birthday today. So happy birthday, Beanie. At any rate, Lala did this challenge using his song, and her very famous friends picked up. Like, I don't think it's fair that she wants to put it out there and have other people challenge for FaceTime, because is it going to be as fun when you're looking at theirs? So Lala had, let's see, who did she call on FaceTime? She called Sierra, Kelly Rowland, Kim Kardashian, Vanessa Bryant, Carisha, and more. Like, it was lit. So, of course, you can go check out her Instagram if you want to see who knew the lyrics. Because it's actually surprising who knew the lyrics, who was cap on thinking that they knew the lyrics and what song. So it was pretty cute. Go check it out. Lock in. Lock in. Now, let's get into this Raven Symone and Whoopi Goldberg interview. Because, listen, I'm going to tell you, when I saw it, I was like, wow, that's a mighty bold statement, right? I'm going to say before we play this, and I'm going to follow up after that, I think Raven and Whoopi are friends, like good friends. And I believe that Whoopi probably knew this question was coming in advance before Raven asked it. I don't think that Raven would be this sort of cavalier with this question, but I still found it interesting. So I don't know. Andy?
Why not, though?
Why not? I mean, I think that Whoopi has earned the right to be guarded or private as it comes to her personal life. She hasn't led with that. There was a period of time where you could say Whoopi did in the early 90s, like when she was dating Ted Danson. And, we knew that Whoopi frequently liked, to date men outside of her race, right? And she was frequently seen out with them and making moves, whatever. But we haven't seen that Whoopi in a very, very long time.
It was all a cover up.
Huh?
I think it was all a cover up.
You think it was a cover up?
Back then, yeah.
Do you think it's a cover up, or do you think that it's just, because she does have a daughter as well? Well, let's play the clip and then we'll talk about it.
Speaking of love and like staying out of people's business, I want to just dig into your business a little bit. Sometimes you give lesbian vibes. You give me like stud vibes.
I think this is a secret fantasy of Raven. I think she just wants everyone to be gay, and she's just really hoping you're going to come out right here, right now. So
women have been asking me this for as long as I've been around. It's like, what do you care who I love?
And really, that's the bottom line. And we've got that answer from a lot of people over the years, respectfully. I think Latifah is someone who very much kept her personal life separate for a very long time. It's only been over the last few years we have seen images with her. We know that she has a child now with her mate and things of that nature, but it wasn't, again, something she led with. So one, not just to ask the question, but to just be like, you give stud vibes, Whoopi. What's up with that? Just seemed hella bold to me. Just kind of nuts. But to your point, Andy, which you mentioned earlier, maybe she's bi. And that's why you get different vibes. Like, I wouldn't say, I remember the Ted Danson thing, and they felt the picture, again, younger age, not as much experience, so don't know if I was reading things the way that they should have been read. By that I mean body language or whatever, but they seem to really be into each other. Don't know, who's to say? But whatever she's doing now, she's chilling. She doesn't seem to want to be bothered one way or the other. But I have to think that maybe she chose Raven's show to address it because they are close, or she felt that she knows that this is something that people maybe wanted to discuss with her, ask her about, and she's choosing this way to address it. Not sure, but I thought it was pretty, just wild to just come at her like that.
I agree with you 100%, and I do think that they do have some sort of relationship for her to be that bold to even pose that question. But I do believe that Whoopi has heard that question pretty much her whole career, though, considering how she presents herself. Like, I don't think she should get offended by people, questioning.
See, I don't know if it's something that she probably necessarily heard her whole career or was questioned about, because I don't think that until recently it's something that would be appropriate to ask, if not offered up. You got to think, it was a big deal in the 90s when Ellen DeGeneres came out on her sitcom.
Facts.
So, Whoopi came out in, 83? Right before The Color Purple with her Broadway special and stuff. And I don't know. I think that there were assumptions made because of how she looked and maybe how she presented herself,
When have you seen her in a dress?
And that wasn't her bag,
Sister Act, that's the only thing.
No, I think that she's something else. What's the movie? Ghost. She, she had a whole wig thing and stuff in Ghost. So, I think that there have been questions, but I also think that she was very much involved in some relationships. Pretty Brown Mimi adds, Whoopi has been married to 3 men and paid some major alimony. Whoopi's 60 plus. She can do whomever she likes. And she can. And her being married doesn't mean that, again, I think maybe, she's like, I like who I like when I like them.
Fair enough.
And we'll see. But again, I do have to think that was like a pre-planned thing or a setup, okay, let's address this with someone that I know I can have a good time with it. They're not going to go too far into the weeds, but respect me enough to allow me to say this, and we can get it off the table and people can refer to it.
I think something's going on in that Disney water.
What do you mean?
I mean, just look at Raven Symone now, right? You know, the whole Orlando Brown situation, how he is, right? Miley Cyrus, Disney. I mean, just look at how they're turning out. You know what I'm saying?
So I will say what I will say about like Disney, and I can't obviously speak in great detail to those people in those situations. I think being a child star, I have several friends that were on TV shows, very popular TV shows, when they were in their, early teens, late, the tweens,
Early
10s. No. Younger than that. I'm saying like
late
literally
teens.
like early, like before you're a teenager.
Oh, 12,
Preteen.
preteen.
Yeah, 10, 11, like starting at that age on up to late teens. I went to school with people that were. So I feel like there are some that are have very normal lives, and some you're like, dang, it's just a lot, but it's a different life. You are, and I can't say necessarily what it's like at this time, but you are treated as a little adult. You are presented and placed in situations that are adult sometimes for your age, but you're a business entity. You actually are someone that is generating income, and so sometimes you are put in situations that aren't necessarily appropriate for your age, but not necessarily inappropriate for the industry that you're in and what other kids are being exposed to. For example, the school that I went to, there was a guy, he was doing a bunch of movies. This was a long time ago. And he had his own condo in like West Hollywood or something like that. When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. When we come forward, you'll have news and sports.
You gave me the feeling in my life. So
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Former Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows is asking a federal judge to block his arrest in the Georgia election case. Lawyers for Meadows filed the request Tuesday in federal court in Atlanta, Georgia. They argue Meadows should not be required to surrender for booking in the case by Friday while he fights to have the matter moved to federal court. About 1 in every 5 women are mistreated while receiving maternal care, and close to a third face discrimination. That's according to a new CDC report. Those experiences are even more common for Black, Hispanic, or multiracial mothers. About 30% of them faced mistreatment, and 40% said they were discriminated against. Serena Williams is welcoming her second child into the world. The tennis icon and her husband announced today that their house is teeming with love for their second daughter. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
At Southern California Edison, they're installing insulated power lines and using the latest technology to help keep our communities safe from wildfire. Learn more at sce.com/mitigation.
Gotta stay fresh, my house shot with a rest bar,
Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580.
The bounce is back.
Need help with the job hunt? It can be challenging, but don't worry. LA County has your back. With a variety of available support services, you'll get the help you need while finding a job. We're here to help you succeed. Let's get started. Find out if you qualify at recovery.lacounty.gov/programs. That's recovery.lacounty.gov/programs. LA County and you, moving forward together.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, nonprofit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the Dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Protho-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid. And we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin ultra strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look, and unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at the gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
What's up, party people? It's your favorite MC's favorite rapper, MC Light here. And we're celebrating 50 years of hip-hop, authentically powered by Cadillac. And we're going to take it way back to where it started. It was only fitting that hip-hop began with teenagers at a back-to-school jam in the rec room of a South Bronx apartment complex by an 18-year-old brother. By the way, I'm also sure he had a Cadillac parked outside. He noticed the energy on the dance floor when he switched between two turntables, extending the beats, repeating the breaks, and never losing the rhythms. And that was the birth of hip-hop. And from that moment, it took off.
For more on how Cadillac is celebrating hip-hop's 50th, visit Cadillac.com/audacity.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
To be or not to be, not. Hold up, bring the beat back. Stop, I ain't ready yet. Wait,
let me fix my hair.
Yes. I think I'm ready. Been locked up in the house way too long.
Shout out to Beyonce and her freakum dress, Queen B. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Of course, Andy doing what he does, making the fire playlist, staying on theme, because apparently Whoopi Goldberg does in fact break out her freakum dress on occasion, usually for award shows, apparently. Is that right, Andy? Is that what we were told?
I gotta show love to, the homie Fahima. She called. She didn't want to go on there, but, she felt the need to go ahead and correct me that Miss Whoopi Goldberg, when it comes to award shows, she'll come through with a dress.
She'll put it on. And,
my Sister Act 2 reference. It was a costume. It was a movie, so,
That doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Okay. Well, listen, like Antonio Brown said, she put that S on. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about Antonio a little bit later in the show. But for now, we know that Whoopi will put it on when she wants to. And I feel like she wanted to let you guys know, stop asking her that. Stop worrying about that. Let me have my homegirl Raven tee it up. And we should be done with that one for a while.
You know, I got to be real and, be constructive, with this whole situation about Whoopi. And I think this discussion kind of leads into something even deeper with regards to, beauty standards. And, it's unfortunate that we have to, based on how she looks, we have to automatically assume that this is her preference.
So let me tell you this. I don't think that it is, well, when you say based on how she looks, I don't think it is because of her physical features per se.
Okay.
I think that her physical features, Whoopi is an attractive woman. I think she purposely, for whatever reason, downplays her attractiveness.
Okay.
But I think that the assumption comes from how she dresses and carries herself.
100%.
Which I think is a little different from, and I get what you're implying, and I understand, and I'm not saying that that's not part of it, but I don't think that it is just that. I think it also is because of how she, chooses to dress herself, how she sometimes carries herself. Whoopi wears a lot of black. When do we see Whoopi in bright colors?
Never.
You know what I mean?
Or I see her in white, maybe, if you want to.
I've seen her in colorful stuff back in the day. I feel like on the thing that she used to do with Billy Crystal and the other comedian that used to come on HBO, the comedy thing, I feel like she wore like a colorful stuff, something then. But since she's been on The View, it feels like her uniform is black and more black and very closed off, right?
Yes.
So, but I feel what you're saying to that. And I do think that that might have been a sort of cover in a way, or reaction to those standards being pushed off on her, and so she kind of put that on as an armor, maybe.
And I'm gonna piggyback on that because I'm with you. I have female friends over the years who, if you look at them, you be like, damn, she's fine, but how they present themselves, they dress down, no makeup, and one of their main reasons is they don't want unwanted attention.
That's right.
So that's probably it. Maybe Whoopi doesn't want a certain level of attention.
Or maybe a certain kind. Because, like, I always say, like, when my friends and I would have, like, BBL conversations and whatever, because, some of them are pro plastic surgery. Some are like, we going to rock out with this natural stuff, whatever state it's in, right? But one thing that a few of us are pretty consistent about is I personally would not want BBL attention. Like, that kind of big booty attention, that type of booty that comes from a BBL, not an athletic skinny one, the normal ones that you see, the voluptuous booty.
Yeah.
That brings a different type of attention that I personally am not lining up for.
You can't even go to the store and shop in peace.
Right. You really can't. I mean, I'll tell you a story. I have a friend who, is she's stacked. Like, she's one of them ones. She got it and it's working for her and she works out.
Natural.
You ain't
got to put her out there. You ain't gotta put her
I'm
out
not.
there.
It's my homegirl. But, body's banging. Not, with some help. But she maintains it well. Like, she's in that gym, hard body, right? So I never say that she did deserve what it is. But I remember one time we were at a restaurant, and I was a few steps behind her, and I saw this guy walk past her. And it's funny because, when you're walking, you don't know what a guy is doing behind you or how they're reacting. Like, sometimes you may catch him, but she had no idea. But because I was a couple of steps behind her, he didn't know that we were together. And so his reaction when he saw her butt, it was comedy. He was like, damn, like just stuck.
Yeah.
And I walked past him. I was like, yeah. And he was like confused for a second.
Did he break his neck twice?
Yeah, he was like double take and like physically mouthed the word damn Do you know what I'm saying? Like, no exaggeration. He was stuck. And it was pretty funny. But yeah, that, like, I leave that to y'all that can handle that, because that's not for me. I don't need that type of attention in my life. Anyway, shout out to Whoopi, though. Crazy respect for her. That OG Broadway special was amazing. Wonder if it's anywhere like that you can catch it. You should definitely check it out. It was her on stage. We haven't seen Whoopi as a comedian in a very, very long time.
What is she known more for? Comedy or
Acting at this point? I mean, she's won. I think if she's not in EGOT, she's close, I believe.
Because when we talk about like the greatest of all time or the legends, like I just realized we don't put Whoopi's name out there.
We don't put Whoopi in anything, and it's sad, but the reason why, and it kind of goes back to something that you mentioned, but halfway. I think Whoopi has always had this interesting relationship, I feel like, with the Black community.
Go ahead, dig deep, go ahead.
And so I feel like, obviously everyone very much supported her when The Color Purple came out, and what we wanted to see happen as far as awards and things after that. But her career took off in a trajectory that, although she was a Black woman and we liked some of the things that she was doing, was she really in what we consider Black content at that time? Black films, Black TV, things that we consider quintessentially Black. I don't know if she's really, I don't believe she's really played a hardcore role in those type of things. And that's not a diss. That's not saying that she should, because she's legendary. Again, her Broadway one-woman show when she was still a comedian, the stuff Billy Crystal, I'm going to look it up to tell you guys what the name of it is. But it used to be a comedy marathon, and they would raise money for these things, and they would have all of these different people on there, and it would be and it would air on HBO, of course, or one of those cable things. So, and then obviously she won an Oscar for Ghost. So, I mean, I think that the trajectory of her career has taken her to spaces that we didn't traditionally dominate, maybe, especially during that time frame.
Right.
And it wasn't her prerogative so much, not saying it was a diss or ignore, but she wasn't, deep into some of the things that we had going on over here necessarily. That doesn't mean she ignored them, but she wasn't a fixture.
Sister Act 2 erases all of that.
It does. But I mean, Sister Act 2, all of that. I mean, I don't personally feel that way, but I think I think that's why she's overlooked, because there's not people like in that movie and reflect about it, and they do reflect about her role. But what's the most thing that we talked about with that? Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to your point, they always say Sister Act 2, not the first one, So I don't know. I think she just has an interesting place as far as the culture and how we sort of view her. When I say we, I mean, as a general, not specifically. So I feel like we love Whoopi, but sometimes I think we don't know how to place her. And now that she's older, a little cranky, and I don't have time to play with you people, again, it puts her sort of in a different lane. And so maybe a little, and for some, that might be intimidating as well.
So is she invited to the cookout?
I absolutely think Whoopi is invited to the cookout, but would Whoopi come? I think that is a bigger thing. And I think that is why people maybe step lightly when it comes to her, because they don't necessarily know how she will react, and they don't necessarily know if she will be receiving of it. She seems like she could be hard body sometimes. So shout out to Robin Locke from in the YouTube chat from Australia. Check it out. Fahima's on the line in DC. Hey, Fahima. What's going on? I'm sorry I called you one of my friends' names, but girl, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for taking my call. So I just wanted to say, it wasn't the body of work of Whoopi Goldberg that caused Black people in particular, not to rock with her. It was positions that she was taking. Okay, I mean, for example, Denzel Washington's body of work wasn't just all Black movies, and we love and adore him. The same thing for Samuel L. Jackson. Now, going back to Whoopi Goldberg, it was positions that she took. For example, when Oscar So White took place, I remember she said something about F that, And she could have hosted the Oscar without saying F that, and also the whole Ted Danson thing. And, although she's a collector of black art, it was an issue where some of the positions that she took, it had nothing to do with her body of work and the films that she played in. It was the positions that she took and the things that she would say.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, she executive produced the Emmett Till film. I mean, that's recently. She was in Tyler Perry's rendition of Colored Girls. She was in Serafina. There were black films that she was in.
Yeah.
But again, I reiterate, it was the positions that she took, and particularly the Ted Danson backlash and during the Oscar So White backlash. She could have hosted that instead of saying F that protest.
Okay, that is a very fair assessment. I remember what you're talking about with Ted Danson. It was the roast when they were dating, and Ted dressed up in blackface and saluted her. This was about 92, maybe. They had just done the film Made in America that also starred Will Smith and Nia Long in it. And there was a lot of controversy, as Fahima mentioned, around that situation because she said she didn't see a problem with it. And really... Pardon me?
It wasn't just the blackface. Some of the sexual things that he would say about her, that he said about her during that roast, people felt were inappropriate.
It was a huge thing, and it actually drove them apart from their dating thing because it, went so left because people were offended, especially considering at that time, it was October of 1993 at a Friars Club lunch. At a Friars Club roast. And he also had a couple of racial slurs that he uttered in there as well. So...
Yeah, the blackface and the sexually inappropriate comments, that, and, those were the things that because I was a big Whoopi Goldberg fan, and I had to, push back with some of the stuff, with the Friars Club. I still adore Whoopi, but at that time, the Friars Club and then her position during the Oscar So White. I'm going to hang up and listen.
Okay. I appreciate your call. You are amazing as always. When we come forward, we'll have more on this topic, plus more trending topics and headlines. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay, Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands for Unity and Healing. African Focus Incorporated is a nonprofit organization based in California that focuses on the growth and well-being of Africans all around the world. Their mission is to promote the well-being of people of African descent through knowledge and appreciation of one another by building a bridge of love and understanding. African Focus Incorporated strives for cultural, educational, and economic growth. They're the organization behind the African Family Induction Ceremony, African Goodwill Awards, African Focus Trailblazer Tours, African Dance Competition, and Showcase Los Angeles, Family Day, Good News Windows Microfinance Project, and more. To volunteer, travel with African Focus, or to attend one of their community building events, please call 310-676-7730. That's 310-676-7300. Or visit AfricanFocus.org. This is a diaspora-wide community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you looking to steer your career in a new direction? Driving for the Culver City Bus can be your ticket to a long-lasting career with excellent benefits and paid training. Culver City Bus is looking for customer service and safety-minded bus operators to join the growing team. Culver City Bus offers on-the-job paid training, uniform allowance, and health benefits. Culver City Bus are now even putting their money in your pocket with a one-time $2,500 sign-on bonus. Let us connect you with an essential service job. If you enjoy driving, seek real opportunities for career advancement, and passionate about making a difference in your community, then we invite you to join the team. Start your journey by submitting an application at culvercity.org/job. For more information, visit culvercitybus.com or call the live customer service operator at 310-253-6500. Again, 350-253-6500.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Fahima once again for locking in with us all the way in D.C. What time is it in D.C. right now? It's almost 2 in the morning, right? It's almost 1. Okay, it's almost 1 in the morning, jumping ahead. So shout out to you for staying up late, getting in here with us. We so appreciate that. William Held, he said he's checking in all the way from Tennessee. He wants to know what the talk. And shout out to Robin Locke once again, who's checking in all the way from Australia. Like, I appreciate that. Shout out to you. Like, that deserves some horns or something. Bum, 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 bum. Applause, applause, applause.
Got the whole world tapped in, huh?
Right? Worldwide.
That's what's up.
Because you're all VIPs, and we appreciate it. So, of course, we talked a little bit about Whoopi. Well, we talked a lot of bit about Whoopi. But just to Fahima's point, I looked up a couple of her controversies over the past few years that involved us, right? So one of the things she did was she did support Bill Cosby when it first came out, and things happened back in 2015. There were some questions about her doing that. She also, when, I don't know if you remember the Ray Rice video that came out. Ray Rice was in Atlantic City with his then fiance. They got into an argument in an elevator where he ended up knocking her out. The NFL only suspended him for a couple of days, but then TMZ got a hold of the video and leaked the video. And really, that video leaking changed the approach of the entire NFL as far as domestic violence and how they would handle players after that. But as that was going on, obviously that controversy sparked a lot of conversation and debates. Whoopi Goldberg took the stance that, and a lot of people didn't agree with it, that basically if you hit a man, don't expect not to get hit back. And so caused a little controversy there. So those are just some of the situations that Whoopi has, gotten a little heat from over the years, but shout out to her. We still support her. And again, I feel like her career doesn't get the attention maybe that it should, or people aren't as familiar with her work outside of The Color Purple, Sister Act, and Ghost as maybe they should be, especially her stage and comedy career. I think that is missing there. But anyway, I promised you that we would have an update on a social media wrong. Something, Twitter, X. I realize it's X, but we're going to keep calling it Twitter because what do you call a tweet? There's no word for that. At any rate, Twitter, Instagram, social media, they got something wrong this time. So over the weekend, social media started buzzing because R&B singers Lloyd and Coco Clemens of SWV were spotted allegedly getting cozy. Now, Lloyd shouted Coco out. She's currently on the Summer Block Tour that has SWV, Jodeci, and Drew Hill. They performed in Atlanta, and Lloyd gave a really heartfelt shout out to Coco, and he included a picture of them together, cheek to cheek, arms around her shoulder. And the caption said, okay, I really love and appreciate this woman. I want to make sure she gets her flowers, something to that effect. And so the fans went crazy, like, wait a minute, are they in a relationship? Oh, what's happening? And so this was buzzing and buzzing and buzzing for a pretty long time over the weekend. But then Coco's son stepped in, Michael, and he was like, y'all are weird. They are not a couple. Next, he wrote this in a tweet. Then he said, they do anything for clicks and views. So Lloyd is reportedly been in a relationship with his longtime girlfriend for years. They have children together. He keeps it low, respectfully. So he was just giving Coco her flowers, just from one R&B singer to another. He respects and admires. But see how it happens? See how people just run away and jump to their own conclusions? So interesting. So a shout out to Miss, I don't know, is this Miss Bichet in the chat? Hello to you. William Held says she doesn't hold back, all good. I assume that comment is about Whoopi. Absolutely not. Whoopi is going to be her no matter what you think about it. That is important, obviously. So let me let you know what's on deck for hour 2. We're going to talk a little bit about Nia Long and her quest that involves her son and her ex, Amy Udoka. We're going to get into them. We're going to talk a little bit about Jennifer Aniston and her comments regarding cancel culture and why people feel like, hey, maybe she should have sat that one out. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about which state is last when it comes to available housing out of all the states. So we're going to get into a little bit of that. We're also going to talk about what's happening with the average wage that people are looking for to switch jobs and why employers are panicked. We got to get into that. And of course, more trending topics and headlines. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. When we come forward, news and sports.
In the moonlight, such an attraction. Keep telling me how my outfit's so nice. Little to heat, my man gon' take it off tonight.